But now we are going to go ahead and get into some heated topics. Okay.
Let's get hot.
For the very longest time, and some of our most viewed videos are about James Gunn versus Snyder, the people that follow Snyder that are hating on anything James Gunn, and vice versa. And we've even had comments where it's like, "Oh, you guys, just hate Snyder." Go back to when
Definitely
those
not.
movies were coming out, and I was making videos, and that was before we
And really good
connected.
predictions. Yeah.
And
Right,
before
spot on.
we connected to do this Reactcast, this channel used to be called The Fan Perspective, and it was basically what we do when we review movies. I did it through the fan scope, right? Like, did it satisfy the fans? So go back and watch my views on the Snyderverse movies, and I personally really like them, and I know they were misunderstood by a lot, but that doesn't take away from the fact that, like, if you're a DC or Superman fan, it doesn't matter who makes it.
Right.
You will appreciate it because it's on the big screen. So many of these, Snyder Bros, they came and they're like, "Oh, just because we don't like James Gunn movies doesn't mean that we're pro Snyderverse." And that's fair, right? But I wasn't necessarily making it out to the people that are just Snyder Bros. But anyone that's just legit hating on James Gunn movie for being lighthearted or whatever, just because it's a different take on the character, well, some of you might be disappointed because we've made videos in the past where we're like, hey, you do know, like, Snyder and James Gunn are like really good buds behind the scenes because they've been involved in the same movies before. I think Slither. Yeah, the Evil Dead. I believe that one was by Snyder, but I think James Gunn was a producer. So there's like different things, and I might be wrong for those guys that are gonna comment. Oh no, this was it was this. Okay, all I'm saying is they've worked together before, and James Gunn has come out and said, like, he's worked with Snyder in creating the Superman look. But since you all wanted to, bash on especially the Snyder Bros here, listen to Snyder. This is on the Josh Horowitz podcast. I don't know if I said that right. But the title is right here. Zach Snyder says James Gunn Superman is amazing. So let's give it a watch and react.
I mean, James has been very kind. He said you've been very kind.
James is cool.
James Gunn.
Look, I wish them all the best, and I.
Okay, first of all, that right there where he's like, James has been really cool, or James is really cool. That already kills all of you Snyder Bros that are going after James Gunn, because your leader right here, who probably doesn't even know he's the appointed leader of this whole thing, he just said that he's cool with James Gunn.
Don't have any. Like, it is what it is. It kind of. It's a weed.
It's not a James Gunn or Snyder thing. The studio messed up. They did do Snyder wrong. I am not denying that. The guy's daughter, she did self-harm and she passed away, and then instead of waiting on him to come back when he feels better, they're like, you know what, let's give it to Whedon.
Yeah.
So I do I understand your anger, why you want Snyderverse back, but we gotta understand, Snyderverse, as much as we liked it as a fan of the series, they were not commercially successful. And if you are gonna get into the whole, damn, Man of Steel made this much money with the inflation, of course it did, because that was the first Superman movie we were getting in. Superman Returns was, say whatever, it was pretty bad. And Snyder knows how to make trailers. There's the one thing this guy knows how to do, is how to put a trailer together. And that's what he did with Man of Steel. And people like me, we went and we loved it. We liked what we saw.
Honestly.
But it did make money because, Dark Knight Rises just came out a few years ago.
Yeah.
And you're like, people at that time, if you remember, because Marvel was going and they were going to go ahead and get together for the Avengers, or I don't know if they did at that point. But no. I think Man of Steel and Iron Man came out very close to each other. And I think, people knew where that was going to lead for the MCU. They were going to get the Avengers. And people thought, if you remember, they're like, oh, Christopher Nolan's, or what's his name? The guy who played Christian Bale, his Batman was going to be, the new, Trinity, right? Like when they eventually get Wonder Woman. But this is before Ben Affleck and everything.
Yeah.
And the Warner Brothers did, they didn't like the results. Those movies made so much money the first week. Man of Steel, yes, it was successful, but when you're talking about like inflation and everything, you also have to take it into account. Superman is coming after all these movies have already come out, right? There's a lot of people that got tired of the Snyderverse, gave up on the DC, didn't even know the new Superman's not part of that, right? There's that crowd. Then there's the anti-James Gunn crowd. Then there's the pro-Snyderverse crowd that just won't watch the James Gunn Superman, not because they don't hate it, but because they don't want it to make money, so they can bring back, all that stuff. Okay, it's coming back to saying,
wow,
stop. They're good friends. Support DC if you're a DC fan. Support superhero movies if you're a superhero fan, man. That's easy as I can say.
So that 3-movie trilogy is a weed that just won't die, and so it doesn't need to, like, it grows on its own, it has its own life, and it doesn't really is not concerned, I don't think, with James's Superman, which is amazing, and all the best to them, and I can't wait to see the next movie, and it's just awesome. It just really, to me, it's just not the same thing. It's just like a different thing.
1000%. We've been saying that it's two different takes on the same character, and they're both really good. But we just have to understand with times, the Snyderverse was what it was.
Right.
Even Snyder has moved on from it, and even if he was to come back in the chair tomorrow, Ben Affleck and Henry Cavill, they're probably dedicated to something else, and now they've grown older. And
They are.
I think Ben Affleck, he might work on something, but I don't think he has the energy to be that Batman he wanted to be 10 years ago.
Yeah.
All that stuff, and it's just so annoying because the fandoms are fighting each other. Meanwhile, both of these directors, both James Gunn and Snyder, are like, I like the other guy.
Is there anything when you saw James's version that, only James could do in that way that you appreciated in his take?
Of course, James is singular in his storytelling, in his ability to kind of channel sort of mythological pop culture into like what I would consider just iconic and very particular point of view that's both poignant and funny and all the things, and I think he's like he's the best at it that I can think of, and I think that he's a great steward of that world. So
That's awesome.
So now these people that are like, James Gunn, fire James Gunn because of this, bring back the Snyderverse. Well, Snyder himself, you just heard it, you just saw it. He likes what James Gunn's got going because guess what? The directors, both of these guys love Superman. Both of these guys love comic book heroes. They don't want to see that genre fail. Like, neither of them wants to see the other fail because, for one, they're friends beyond movies. Two, they're covering the same genre that they both love. Right? So it makes no sense why some people are,
Yeah.
And yeah, so with that, it's
I think
crazy.
it's a beautiful thing, personally. I think I love seeing people support each other that are in the same fields like that, because they easily could hate on each other and shoot each other down and try to take each other's fans and stuff, but instead, why not just build to the universes? I think that's absolutely perfect.
No, for sure.